right? But a lot of times when you put labels onto yourself, that's what I've figured from, because I am on the journey of figuring out how to figure out life, right? So I'm talking from my personal experience. I'm not going to tell you what you need to do in life. That's up to you, man. मैंने अपने हाथ खड़े कर दिए. Hands up. Hello, and welcome to episode 3 of Chucky Says, episode 3, episode 4. Hello, and welcome to episode 4 of Chucky Says What? Now, if someone asks you, hey, what show are you watching? You could be like, Chucky Says What? And they'll be like, what? And you'll be like, no, it's not what. It's Chucky Says What? Now, if you've seen the previous 3 episodes, you will be like, hey, Chirag, you called it Chucky's Show, and now you're calling it Chucky Says What? What's the deal? Well, I'm glad you asked. First of all, thank you so much. I feel very few people ask the right kind of questions nowadays. So you asking me this question, is it speaks intelligence of your mind. Nothing, I am experimenting, obviously. As I said, I'm figuring out how to figure out life, if you've seen the previous few episodes. And sort of it's the same with my content as well, and the same with this property as well. Now, in the future episodes, I don't know if I will do it in this episode as well. I might just make edits, because the intention initially was to make it a podcast, but I also want to see what happens if I change the edit. I want to see if I change the thumbnails. So yeah, don't worry, I'm going to mention the top comment of the previous episode by the end of this episode. So stay tuned, wherever you are, you lucky person. So why Chucky Says What is, I've done a few other videos which I put under the Chucky Says What bracket, and I think this property gives me the license to just talk. So yeah, so it gives me the license to talk, and I feel since I'm talking without a script with few pointers itself, Chucky Says What sort of brands that thing better, you know? So even if I'm talking something random and you're like, what? I'll be like, hey, you signed up for this. That is what the show said. It's Chucky Says What? What? But speaking about names, labels, you know, all of these things, how important is it? Or how not important is it? I don't know why I said how not important is it. Sometimes just to just extend my sentences, I will say absolutely anything. Anyway, so I wanted to know how important are labels, because now I was calling it Chucky's Show, now I'm calling it Chucky Says What, but this is obviously because I'm experimenting with the property, but just generally labels. You know, when we say I am this, I am that, I don't do these kind of things. If this happens, then that will happen. You know, this and that, you could be like labels. So I'll give you an example. Like for, I'm an actor. Okay. Now suddenly when I'm, for example, I learned web development, and a lot of people were like, hey, aren't you an actor? And I'm like, yeah, but I don't think I'm just an actor. Right? But a lot of times when you put labels onto yourself, that's what I've figured from, because I am on the journey of figuring out how to figure out life, right? So I'm talking from my personal experience. I'm not going to tell you what you need to do in life. That's up to you, man. मैंने अपने हाथ खड़े कर दिए. Hands up. Sometimes I just do the most random things in between. How important are these? I think, I don't know if it's good or bad. I feel you could label yourself as someone who gets things done, not to the world, to yourself from inside. Because if you say it out loud, you get things done, and you don't get things done, and then you will be like, what just happened? And you will start doubting yourself. But to yourself, if you define few labels for yourself, you know, I'm someone that starts something and finishes it. Okay. So now I started something. Started a new course. I'm going to finish it. Started a new book. I'm going to finish it. Because that's the thing I've decided for myself. But when we put our labels out there for the world, then sometimes we get trapped inside it. That's what I feel. Like, I would never do this. I would never do that. And then suddenly when a situation arises when you sort of are doing that. I'm a good person. That's the best label of them all. I'm a good person. I don't know. Are you? Who is good? We all are good. We all are bad. We all do certain things. Sometimes we all make mistakes that makes few people feel bad. That makes you feel good. Sometimes that makes you feel pathetic. Sometimes people do things that you sort of label them as bad people because they've affected you. You know. But I don't know. That's where I feel labels don't work. Like, you cannot call yourself good or bad. You're a human being that does good things, that does bad things, or just does things that have good or bad consequences. Obviously, we can go and I don't want to go into further debate as to how there are actually people in this world that have done crimes and sorry that have done crimes and all. I'm not entering into that realm, but I'm just talking on a very general level. When we get disappointed with our friends, family, with ourselves, we get disappointed with ourselves the most, right? I'm guilty of that. When I've done something or when something has happened and I'm like, I'm not this kind of person, yeah. How do you know? You keep changing every day. You keep changing with every new experience in life, whether good or bad, right? The more you keep setting for yourself, no, you're just creating more anxiety and conflict for yourself. Probably you're staying in denial because you set certain labels for yourself and your actions don't match those. Then you're justifying, you're lying to the world, you're not being honest with yourself. Yeah. I just realized this is more like a therapy session. I think I should call it the therapy session. Next, episode 5, therapy session. Then I'll again explain why the labels don't make sense, but yeah. So yeah, moving on. There's nothing to move on to. Let's move on to the top comment. Yeah, wow, good amount of comments in the last video. Monu Game King. I remember Monu Game King. He used to come onto my streams when I used to stream as a gamer. I labeled myself as a gamer and I didn't do anything about it. Mono Game King comments, what are you watching? Others, I'm watching YouTube. Me, I'm watching Chucky's show. Well, Monu, now you're going to say I'm watching Chucky Says What? And then they'll be like, what? And you'll be like, no, it's not what, it's Chucky Says What. Yeah. Do subscribe, do comment, do like. If you want me to create such kind of content even more, I know a few of you are commenting where you want me to do it in Hindi. There's a reason why I'm doing it in English. There's a reason why a few of my videos in the coming few days are going to be in English. Trust me on that and bear with me throughout this process. As I said, I'm figuring out things and the language that I'm using for my content is one of those things that I'm trying to figure out. Okay? If you like this kind of content and if you want me to talk about certain topics, just randomly faff, do comment and do comment what labels have you kept for yourself or what people around you have kept yourself, and then do people go like, hey, I never considered you that kind of a person. If you've gone through this experience, just tell me what it is that they expected you to be, what they defined you as, what you define yourself as. Just put it in the comments. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon.